Welcome to the deep dive. I'm really glad you could carve out some time for us today because we're diving into something that, well, I know is on a lot of people's minds. You, our listener, you've probably thought about the future of work, right? Asking yourself, can I actually get a high paying career, something stimulating, financially secure, and do it all from, well, anywhere? The answer, and we're really going to get into this, is a huge yes. Remote work, it's not just a trend anymore. It's not temporary. In 2025, it's basically the new normal.
Yeah.
And what's really exciting is that a lot of these remote jobs, they pay as much, sometimes more than traditional office roles. Seriously. So today we're not just talking about it. We're giving you a shortcut, sort of a map to understand this whole shift and maybe spot some, incredible opportunities out there. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, and what's really important to grasp here is this isn't just some recent thing that happened because it had to. This big shift in how we work and where. It's tied into something much bigger. We're talking about the huge acceleration in global digital transformation over the last, say, decade. Plus, businesses are always changing how they operate, what they need strategically. Companies, big and small, they're realizing that the best talent isn't always nearby. And actually, having people work from different places can, well, boost efficiency, bring in fresh ideas, maybe even open up new markets. So our mission here for this deep dive is to really pull out the key nuggets of info from our sources. We're looking closely at one called 10 highest paid jobs you can do from home in 2025. But we're going way beyond just like listing jobs. The goal is to give you clear, actionable insights, understand why this is happening, and most importantly, how you can maybe leverage these changes for your own career, for your own life.
Exactly right. Think of this as your kind of personal blueprint for what work looks like next. By the end of this, you'll have a much clearer roadmap. Some surprising facts, I bet, and practical ideas, a better handle on things that could really change your career path. So I'd say, lean in, listen closely. As we go through each role, ask yourself, which skills click with me? Or maybe spark something new. What possibilities, not just for a job, but maybe a whole new way of living and earning, really grab you? We've got a lot to cover. It's pretty fascinating stuff. And we're going to start by looking at what we're calling the tech titans of remote work. Right. Let's kick off with a category that's been a real powerhouse in remote work for ages, and for good reason, software development. This has been one of the top remote careers for years, yeah? And our sources are saying loud and clear that in 2025, it's even more lucrative. We're talking about the people literally building the digital world we live in, the apps on your phone, the super complex systems running big companies, all of it.
The demand for software developers, it's just sustained. It's almost insatiable, really. It's driven by this global hunger for digital stuff, apps, websites, services that just doesn't seem to stop. Think about every new feature you see, every e-commerce site, the massive systems managing global supply chains. Developers are behind all that. But what's often missed, and this is what makes it even more valuable now, is the specialization happening within the field. It's getting deeper. Companies aren't just looking for someone who can code. They're paying a premium, really top dollar for developers who can weave in cutting-edge tech like AI or machine learning, or people who deeply understand specific cloud setups built for scale and toughness, or even, building advanced security right into the code itself from day one. It's moving beyond just building, intelligently designing, securing, and optimizing these digital ecosystems. And the beauty of it, especially for remote work, is that it's fundamentally location independent, isn't it? Like our sources say, you could literally be sitting in your apartment, collaborating seamlessly with a team spread across 3 continents.
Using all these amazing collaboration tools that make distance almost irrelevant.
That point about intelligent design and security, that feels really important, yeah? It suggests there's this deeper level of complexity and value now. So if you think about it, maybe a general developer builds the rooms in a digital house, but a specialized developer in 2025, they're building the rooms and integrating the smart home AI and designing the super secure network and making sure the whole thing can grow or shrink instantly. That's a different game. You mentioned coordinating across continents. That sounds tricky. How do these top teams actually manage that? Working across time zones, communicating asynchronously, beyond just having the tools, what kind of team culture or leadership makes that work smoothly?
That's a really good question. And it shows how remote development has matured. It's not just about the tools anymore. It's really about the culture and the processes. Leading remote teams well means focusing on asynchronous communication first, not always needing an instant reply. So relying heavily on like detailed documentation, clear tracking systems, Jira, Trello, things like that, and doing really thorough code reviews, which also become learning moments. Maybe stand-up meetings get recorded for people in other zones. Decisions get written down somewhere central everyone can access. There's also this big push towards DevOps and site reliability engineering, SRE, where developers are really involved in deploying and watching their code live, making sure it stays up and problems get fixed fast no matter where people are. It shifts the focus from just coding to like owning the whole process end to end, which again adds value, adds to the compensation package. And for you, the listener, what's so great, so democratizing about this is how accessible learning has become. You can learn coding online, right?
Yeah.
Coursera, Udemy, Free Code Camp, tons of options. You can practice on open source projects on GitHub, which is amazing for real world chops. And start building a strong portfolio without necessarily needing that traditional 4-year degree, which means, ambition, practice, showing you can do the work that could open doors, leading to salaries that, easily reach 6 figures if you're skilled, and often way more if you've got those specializations.
That is incredibly empowering, isn't it? The whole idea that your portfolio, what you can actually show you can do, can outweigh the formal piece of paper. Makes it feel very meritocratic.
Okay, so from building the digital infrastructure, let's pivot. Let's talk about making sure people actually find that stuff and engage with it, whether it's an app, a site, a service. Our next high-paying remote role for 2025, the digital marketing manager. And our sources are super clear on this. This role is crucial for every company, every single one. Doesn't matter if it's the local cafe down the street or a huge multinational brand. If you sell something, you need to reach people. And in 2025, that means online, like almost entirely. It requires a sophisticated presence.
Exactly. And what's fascinating here is why companies are willing to pay top dollar for these folks. The whole online world has just exploded in complexity, hasn't it? It's not just about, posting a few things on social media anymore. Not at all. It's about understanding these really intricate social media algorithms, which are basically AI systems constantly changing things up. It's mastering paid ads across Google, Meta, TikTok, LinkedIn, all these different, sometimes disconnected platforms. It's optimizing for SEO, so your company shows up when people search on Google. That's huge. And building really smart, personalized email marketing journeys. A top digital marketing manager needs to juggle all of that, often at the same time, and see how it all connects. So the role, it really needs this amazing mix of strategic thinking and creative flair. They're not just putting content out there. They're planning global campaigns sometimes. They're digging into massive amounts of data to see what's actually working, what's driving ROI. And then they're coordinating all these different teams, designers, making visuals, writers, crafting messages, ad buyers, placing the ads strategically. It's
like being a conductor, right? Leading this really specialized online orchestra.
I love that analogy. A conductor of an online orchestra. It really hits home that this is way more than just being creative. It's super strategic, highly analytical, and here's where it gets really interesting, especially if you're someone with maybe a creative streak, you like telling stories, but you also enjoy digging into data, solving puzzles with numbers. Our sources really stress how this role has a direct impact on business growth, on visibility. It's vital.
Yeah.
You're not just doing tasks, you're directly moving the needle on the company's bottom line, bringing in customers, shaping how the brand connects with people in really important ways. So thinking about impact, what are some of the maybe less obvious metrics or KPIs that a really good digital marketing manager is tracking in 2025? Beyond just, clicks and sales.
That's a great point. It goes deeper. So beyond those surface things, top managers in 2025 are laser focused on customer lifetime value, or CLTV. Understanding how much a customer's worth over the long haul, not just that first purchase. That changes how you spend money. They're also digging into attribution models, trying to figure out which marketing touch points really influence someone's decision. It's rarely just the last click, right? Understanding that helps you put your budget in the smartest places across all those channels. Engagement rates are evolving too. It's not just likes. It's about how long people stay on a page, how far they scroll, if they interact with features, even analyzing the sentiment of comments to see if people genuinely connect with the brand. And hugely important now, privacy compliance and data ethics. That's becoming a KPI itself. With GDPR, CCPA, all those regulations, you have to make sure your strategies are effective, yes, but also compliant and build trust. Because the online world is so fragmented, so noisy, a manager who can cut through that, deliver results you can measure, and do it ethically. That person is incredibly valuable.
Synthesizing all that complexity data, creativity, ethics into a winning strategy. That's why they get paid well.
Speaking of data and how powerful it is, that leads us perfectly into our third tech titan, the data analyst. This rule is all about taking that flood of digital information website clicks, sales numbers, customer feedback, operations data, everything, and skillfully turning that raw data into clear, actionable recommendations. You're not just organizing spreadsheets, you're like a digital prospector maybe, sifting through tons of rock to find those little nuggets of gold.
That's a pretty good analogy, the digital prospector. Yeah. The core problem they solve is something so many businesses feel deeply in 2025. They're absolutely swimming in data but starving for insights, just drowning in numbers. Companies collect unbelievable amounts of information, customer behavior, internal processes, market trends, but without someone who knows how to make sense of it all. It's just noise. It's a wasted resource. The data analyst brings order, structure, and meaning to all that chaos, which makes data literacy a superpower today. It really is. And companies will reward you handsomely for it. Because the insights they generate, they lead directly to a competitive edge. For a remote data analyst, the actual task can vary a lot, often using pretty sophisticated tools. They might be wrangling huge data sets in the cloud, using advanced SQL or maybe Python scripts to pull out specific info, building interactive dashboards, think Tableau or Power BI to track KPIs live, or using statistical analysis to find correlations, figure out what causes what. Their main goal is spotting trends that can save a company millions or help it break into a new market. That's the impact.
Can be finding waste in operations, identifying an unmet customer need, even predicting where the market's heading next. So yeah, it goes way beyond just reporting numbers. It's about actively shaping strategy, driving decisions across the whole company.
I can totally see the detective thing coming through there too.
Yeah.
Piecing together clues from all these scattered bits of data to solve a big business mystery. So if you're someone who genuinely loves problem solving, you enjoy finding those hidden patterns in what looks like random noise, and you want to make a real, measurable difference to a company's success. This sounds like an incredibly rewarding path. Influential too. Our sources are clear. Spotting those key trends can be absolutely massive. It directly hits the bottom line, market share, even long-term survival. For someone thinking about this, what are some of the specific advanced analytics tools or maybe methods that are becoming really essential for data analysts in 2025, beyond just Excel and basic charts?
Yeah, the toolkit has definitely gotten more sophisticated. Excel is still foundational, especially for smaller stuff, but beyond that. Proficiency in SQL for putting data out of databases, that's absolutely non-negotiable. You just have to know it. For the more complex stats and messing with data, languages like Python, especially with libraries like Pandas, NumPy, SciPy, and R, are critical now. They let analysts do things like predictive modeling, even dip into machine learning without being full-on data scientists. Then you got the business intelligence BI tools, Tableau, Power BI, Looker are big ones. Essential for creating those dynamic dashboards that let business users explore data themselves. Plus, understanding the cloud data platforms, Snowflake, Databricks, Google BigQuery is huge because that's where all the data lives now, increasingly. Method-wise, knowing about A/B testing, regression analysis, even basic machine learning concepts like clustering or classification, that helps analysts go from just describing what happened to predicting what will happen and even prescribing what the business should do. It really empowers companies to make truly data-driven decisions, which is, a must-have to compete today. Insights, driving real results, efficiency, new products, better customer experiences.
Okay, so we've covered building the digital world, marketing it strategically, and deeply understanding the data it creates. Next up, let's talk about making sure that world isn't just functional and smart, but actually, pleasant to use. All right, our fourth high-paying remote job moves us right into design, the UX/UI designer. Now, you might hear these letters, UX and UI, thrown around, but you definitely experience their work every single day, probably without thinking about it. UX is user experience, basically, how you feel when you use something digital. UI is user interface. That's the look and feel, the buttons, the visuals, how you interact with it. These designers, they're kind of the unsung heroes, making sure your journey through an app or website is smooth, intuitive, maybe even delightful.
Yeah, and what's really compelling about UX UI and why it's getting so important and well paid is how directly it impacts business success. It's huge. In today's digital world, 2025, businesses are really fighting for user attention and loyalty. It's fierce out there. If an app is clunky, confusing, frustrating, or a website makes you work too hard to find things, people just leave. They'll go straight to a competitor, gone. So design that's intuitive, looks good, and works efficiently. It's absolutely paramount for getting users and crucially keeping them. The role itself has this really cool dual nature. It's definitely artistic, but also analytical, deeply analytical. Designers have to balance how things look, the brand feel, the emotional connection, with a really solid understanding of user psychology, how people think, their biases, even behavioral economics, and for remote work.
It fits perfectly. They do user testing over video calls, getting feedback from people all over. They create wireframes. Those are like rough sketches of an interface and detailed prototypes using tools like Figma or Adobe XD. And they collaborate constantly, virtually, with developers, product managers, everyone else involved. This field is just naturally suited for remote work. Lyft designers work with global teams and understand diverse users.
It really does seem like a natural fit for remote. So
Yeah.
what does this all mean for us, like in our daily digital lives? It means someone, a skilled UX UI designer, is consciously thinking about every single click you make, every swipe, every scroll, every moment you spend looking at a screen. They're trying to make it feel natural, easy, efficient, and ideally, yeah, even kind of enjoyable. Delightful, as you said. So if you're someone who loves that blend of creativity and like logical problem solving, someone who can dream up something beautiful but also figure out how to make it work incredibly well for the user, this could be perfect. Think about the satisfaction, right? Directly influencing how millions interact with tech every day. That's a pretty powerful impact. Making technology less frustrating, more accessible for everyone.
Precisely. The psychology baked into good design. It directly drives adoption, keeps people coming back, makes them happy. A well-designed product isn't just easier. It often feels more trustworthy, more professional, more efficient, which leads to more engagement, better business outcomes. It's that crucial bridge between what people need and what the tech can do. And for anyone looking to get into this, a strong portfolio showing you can solve problems, not just make pretty pictures, is absolutely key. Often built through personal projects, design challenges, maybe even doing some work for nonprofits to start.
Okay, from making the digital world user-friendly and even delightful,
Right.
let's switch gears to maybe the most critical piece, keeping it safe. Our fifth role is the cybersecurity specialist. With just so much sensitive data, personal and corporate, moving online, the digital world has unfortunately become this constant battlefield, hasn't it? These specialists are the absolutely essential defenders. They're guarding against this rising tide of sophisticated cyber attacks that threaten everything.
Yeah, the stakes here are just incredibly high. And that's really what drives the premium salaries for cybersecurity pros. A single successful breach can cost millions. And it's not just the money lost directly. It's the damage to reputation, losing customer trust, massive legal fees, regulatory fines. It can cripple a company. This reality has pushed cybersecurity way beyond just being an IT thing. It's a boardroom priority in 2025, no question. It's fundamentally about managing core business risk, and the role works remarkably well remotely. These experts can meticulously audit systems, set up defenses, and respond to threats in real time, from pretty much anywhere, as long as they have secure access, obviously. We're caught in this constant high-stakes arms race, attackers getting smarter, defenders having to stay ahead, which means it's a field that's always changing, always challenging intellectually, and absolutely critical. Requires constant learning. And for you, the listener, it's good to know this isn't just one job. It covers a lot of ground. Things like ethical hacking, penetration testing, finding weaknesses before the bad guys do, incident response, dealing with attacks when they happen, security architecture, designing secure systems, compliance, making sure rules are followed. Lots of paths within it.
It really sounds like being a digital guardian, doesn't it? Standing watch over the company's most valuable assets. If you've got that sharp eye for detail, maybe even a bit obsessive about it, a strong protective streak, and you're fascinated by complex systems, how they work, how they break, and crucially, how to defend them, then this seems like a field just full of opportunity and purpose, too. Our sources keep highlighting the premium salaries these folks command. And it makes sense, given how critical their work is. It's a career where what you do really matters. You're preventing potential disasters, protecting privacy, maintaining trust. So, for someone interested, what are some of the biggest, newest threats that cybersecurity specialists are dealing with right now in 2025, especially with so many people working remotely?
That's a key question. The landscape shifts constantly. In 2025, a lot of threats are amplified by remote work and heavy cloud use. Phishing and social engineering are still huge, but way more sophisticated. They're even using AI now to make scams incredibly personal and believable. Scary stuff. Ransomware keeps evolving. It's not just hitting single computers, it's targeting entire cloud setups, demanding massive payouts. We're also seeing a big rise in supply chain attacks. That's where attackers hit a company by going through one of its vendors, like a software provider. That can be really hard to defend against. Plus, just securing all the IoT devices, Internet of Things that people have in their home offices now, that's a challenge. And implementing robust zero-trust architecture. That's the idea that you don't trust anyone or anything by default, even if they're inside the network. Verify everything. So professionals need deep knowledge of things like identity management, endpoint security, EDR, and tools to manage security in the cloud, CSPM. The fact is, there's a real shortage of top talent in these specific areas. Combine that with the growing threats, that keeps demand and salaries very high.
Okay, so we secured the data, protected the digital assets. Now, the big question for any modern company is, where does all this stuff actually live and run? All this secure data, these fancy applications. That leads us right to our sixth high-paying remote role, the cloud solutions architect. These are the incredibly skilled people who design, plan, and oversee the whole cloud infrastructure that businesses rely on now. Think about the big players. Amazon Web Services, AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud. These architects work with that foundation.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating, and really explains why this is one of the highest paying remote tech jobs right now, is how central it is to this massive ongoing shift where businesses are moving their entire infrastructure to the cloud. We're not just talking about storing files online. This is a complete transformation, moving servers, databases, applications, networks, the whole operational engine, from physical data centers to these huge global scalable cloud environments. And this role, it needs this unique, really powerful mix of deep technical knowledge with strategic thinking. A cloud solutions architect isn't just clicking buttons to set things up. They're planning a company's entire digital backbone. How will apps run? How will they scale up or down automatically when traffic changes? How will they stay secure? How will data flow efficiently? And crucially, how do we do all this without breaking the bank? Cost effectiveness is huge. They're making fundamental choices about the digital land the company builds on. Is it serverless like AWS Lambda? Is it containers with Kubernetes? Is it a big data lake on Snowflake? Their decisions impact everything: speed, reliability, disaster recovery. It's foundational. So the scale of that responsibility, the specialized knowledge needed, that often means salaries well into six figures, reflects the huge impact they have.
Okay, let's unpack this one a bit more. It sounds complex, but absolutely crucial. Maybe think of it less like a traditional architect designing one building and more like an urban planner designing a whole futuristic city from scratch.
Right.
But instead of roads and buildings, you're mapping out networks, scalable storage, massive computing power, strong security, all designed to grow or shrink instantly, globally. So if you're someone who gets excited by large-scale system design, by strategic planning, by understanding how these massive global digital services actually work under the hood, from tiny microservices to worldwide data systems, this sounds like an incredibly impactful and, frankly, intellectually stimulating career. You're essentially building the invisible but totally essential plumbing and wiring that runs pretty much every modern business. Banking, streaming, healthcare, you name it. What are some of the really big challenges cloud solutions architects are wrestling with today? Especially with cloud services changing so fast and companies wanting to use multiple clouds.
Oh, the challenges are definitely as dynamic as the cloud itself. The big one is vendor lock-in. Companies don't want to get stuck with just one provider. So there's this increasing need for multi-cloud strategies using services from AWS, Azure, and GCP, for example. But that adds huge complexity. Architects have to figure out how to make these different systems talk to each other, keep security consistent, manage costs across platforms. It's tough. Another massive challenge is cost management and optimization. The cloud is scalable, yeah, but costs can explode if you don't design things right and govern usage carefully. Architects have to constantly think about the financial side of every technical decision. And then there's data sovereignty and compliance, making sure data stays where it's supposed to legally across different countries, even within the cloud. That's a constant headache with varying regulations. So yeah, this field demands nonstop learning. New services, new ways of building things pop up almost daily. Staying ahead takes more than just tech skills. It takes that strategic view to see what's coming and avoid potential problems.
Okay, moving away from the super technical backbone now, let's shift gears a bit. We're going to look at how experienced professionals are packaging their expertise as a service, and then we'll dive into the whole creator economy, where individual knowledge and having a voice are becoming really valuable assets. All right, number 7 on our list of high-paying remote jobs, the online business consultant. This is all about taking your years, maybe decades of deep experience, could be in management, operations, finance, supply chains, maybe a really specific industry, and packaging that know-how to advise companies remotely. It's basically monetizing your wisdom, your track record, but in a super flexible way.
Yeah, and what's really powerful about this model, what's fascinating, is who often gets the most value from it. It's frequently the small and mid-sized businesses, the ones that can't afford or don't need a full-time top-level expert in every single area. But they desperately need that strategic advice sometimes. So they bring in remote consultants project by project to help with things like scaling operations to entering new markets or figuring out their digital transformation plan or maybe fixing their financial strategy. And for the consultant, the flexibility and potential income are huge. You can work project by project, often with multiple clients at once, which means you get to set your own rates, manage your schedule demanding, probably, but yours to manage and pick interesting projects. We're definitely seeing this big trend where companies are outsourcing more and more specialized knowledge, high-level thinking. And that creates this really vibrant, growing market for independent consultants who can deliver that targeted, high-impact advice without the company needing to hire someone full-time.
This really does sound like an amazing path for people with deep experience, doesn't it? If you spent years honing your craft, solving tough problems, building real insights in your field, this offers incredible flexibility. Monetize that hard-won experience completely on your terms. Step away from the corporate ladder, maybe, but still make a big difference. It feels very entrepreneurial. You're in control of your work, who you work with, your income. You basically become your own little specialized knowledge shop, right? Expertise on tap. What do you think makes certain online consultants really stand out? How do they attract those high-paying clients in what seems like a crowded space? Beyond just having the expertise, what sets them apart?
That's a great question. Because expertise alone isn't always enough. Several things really differentiate the top consultants. First, it's often about niching down, like really niching down hard. Instead of just business consultant, maybe you're the go-to expert for, say, AI adoption for B2B software companies, or optimizing supply chains for sustainable fashion. That specific focus creates undeniable value and cuts through the noise. Second, demonstrable results, proof, case studies. Clients want to see you've delivered tangible ROI before, not just hear promises. Third, a strong personal brand and online presence is crucial if you're attracting clients remotely. That might mean writing articles, doing webinars, maybe even a podcast like this one, showing your thinking, building trust before you even talk to them. And finally, just being really good at communicating complex ideas simply and building rapport, even over video calls. It's about being a brilliant problem solver, sure, but also someone clients trust and, frankly, like working with. That mixed deep niche knowledge, proven results, strong brand, great communication, that's what lets them command those top rates.
That builds perfectly into our next one, number 8. The virtual lawyer or legal consultant. The legal world, right? Traditionally seen as super conservative, very office-based, but even that field has really had to embrace the digital shift. You've got secure platforms, great video conferencing, smart document tools, all making high-quality remote legal services way more possible, more effective than ever.
Absolutely. And what's kind of revolutionary here is how tech has really opened up access to legal help. And in doing that, it's starting to, chip away at the traditional centralized law firm model. Virtual lawyers can handle a ton of specific tasks remotely, very effectively. Things like meticulously reviewing contracts for startups, navigating complex compliance issues for online businesses, or advising on tricky intellectual property stuff for tech companies. And this remote approach is particularly valuable for startups or international companies. Why? Because they might need niche legal expertise across different time zones. Remote makes that access easy, convenient, breaks down geographical barriers. Our sources really hammer this home. With a legal degree and a good internet connection, you can serve clients worldwide and bill at premium rates. It's basically globalized legal practice, which offers huge flexibility for the lawyer and amazing access for clients who need specific help.
So if you're a legal professional, maybe an attorney, a specialized paralegal, a consultant, and you're looking for more autonomy, maybe wanting to escape that rigid traditional office culture, and maybe even build a client base from all over the world. This looks like a really clear and potentially very lucrative path. You really can command those higher rates while getting the flexibility of remote work. And your impact isn't limited to just one city anymore. It's legal counsel for the digital age, delivered from anywhere. What specific tech or maybe rule changes have really made this possible in such a, historically traditional field?
Yeah, several key things came together. First, secure cloud-based legal practice management software is everywhere now. These systems handle documents securely, client communication, billing, case tracking, all accessible remotely. That's huge. Second, really good video conferencing with strong encryption that makes consultations, depositions, sometimes even court stuff possible remotely while keeping things confidential. Third, things like e-discovery tools and AI for reviewing documents have automated a lot of the really time-consuming legal grunt work. Makes remote analysis and teamwork much faster. And on the rule side, many bar associations and legal bodies around the world have actually loosened up rules about virtual practice. They had to, partly, but they also saw it works. Plus, e-filing systems are pretty standard in courts now. But, and this is important, virtual lawyers still have to be super careful about jurisdictional rules. Where are they actually licensed to practice? What are the specific rules for that client or that court? Knowing how to navigate both the tech and those complex rules is part of what makes these virtual legal pros so valuable.
Okay, now for something that might genuinely surprise some people with how much earning potential it has now and how it's really become a legit full-time career, the content creator influencer. This isn't just, a hobby for a few lucky folks anymore. In 2025, our sources are saying absolutely this is a full-time, high-earning remote career for people who really figure it out.
Yet what's truly revolutionary and just fascinating is the sheer variety of platforms now. And, more importantly, the really diverse, multiple income streams that successful creators build. We're talking about full-time YouTubers, podcasters, newsletter writers with super engaged audiences, and live streamers earning six figures or more. It's happening. And the money, it rarely comes from just one place. It's usually this clever mix of things, like sponsorships from brands that fit their audience, selling digital products, ebooks, courses, templates, memberships for exclusive stuff or community access, and yeah, the traditional ad revenue from the platforms too. This whole thing represents this massive, almost seismic shift in how we consume media. And the undeniable power of the individual voice now. Creators can completely bypass the old gatekeepers. It's definitely an entrepreneurial path, though, make no mistake. It takes patience and strategy to grow an audience, especially now when it's so crowded. But for those who pull it off, who build that loyal community, it opens up these incredibly powerful new routes to being financially independent. It's really about building that direct, authentic connection with your audience. Nurture that. It becomes this incredibly valuable long-term asset.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Especially if you feel like you have a unique perspective, a real passion for something specific, and you've got that hustle, that entrepreneurial drive to build something yourself. Yeah. This is a career where you absolutely are your own boss, total creative freedom, autonomy, and the potential to earn more than maybe even eclipse a traditional job while working from, your living room or wherever. That's not just a dream anymore. It's happening every day. It's about building a brand around you, your knowledge, your interests. That's appealing to a lot of people seeking both money and meaning, right? But what are the key things that separate someone just messing around online from a creator who builds a sustainable, high-earning business? What makes that jump?
Yeah, making that leap from hobbyist to pro involves several key strategies. First, consistency and quality. Non-negotiable. You have to show up regularly with stuff that's actually valuable and well-made. Second, platform diversification. Don't rely on just one platform. Smart creators spread out. A podcaster might also do YouTube shorts, write a newsletter, be active on LinkedIn or wherever their audience hangs out. Third, community building is absolutely vital. It's not just about putting content out. It's about interacting with people, listening, responding, making people feel like they belong, maybe through comment sections, Q&As, private groups on Discord or Patreon. Fourth, smart monetization. Really understanding your audience lets you create and sell things, courses, tools, services that genuinely help them, moving beyond just relying on ads. And finally, data. Looking at the analytics, what content resonates, where do people come from, what keeps them engaged, using that to get better constantly. So yeah, it's like being an artist, an entrepreneur, a community leader, and an analyst all rolled into one. It's a lot.
And that leads us perfectly, actually, building right on that idea of monetizing knowledge through content. To our 10th and final high-paying remote job, the online course creator educator. This is presented as this incredibly scalable way to earn from home by basically creating lessons or full courses on what you know, recording them, and selling them to people anywhere in the world.
Exactly. And what's really compelling and fascinating here is just how broad the range of skills and knowledges that you can package up like this. Our sources mention things like coding, photography, languages, marketing, but honestly, almost any deep expertise can work. Advanced Excel, gourmet cooking, chess strategy, mastering specific software. If people want to learn it, you can probably teach it online. And the huge advantage this has over, say, one-on-one tutoring is the scalability. It's massive. Once you create a really good course, put in the hard work up front. It can be sold over and over without extra work or minimal extra work, maybe some updates. So your time and effort get leveraged like crazy. It can generate passive income for years after you launch it. And the timing is perfect because in 2025, the e-learning industry is booming. Absolutely booming. People worldwide want accessible, flexible ways to learn new skills, often more affordably than traditional routes. This whole trend really democratizes education, doesn't it? It lets individuals become global teachers directly, reaching students they'd never connect with otherwise.
I just find that whole idea of sharing knowledge like this so accessible and powerful. If you genuinely like teaching or mentoring, or you just have this specialized knowledge you're itching to share widely, this seems like an amazing opportunity. Think about that passive income potential, right? Create it once, sell it many times, reaching people all over the globe. That's a huge impact educationally. And at the same time, you're building this scalable, flexible income stream that could really change your life. But like content creation, it feels like a crowded space. What makes an online course really stand out and succeed? How do you cut through?
It is crowded, absolutely. So to really stand out, a few things are key. First, solving a very specific, painful problem for a really clearly defined audience. That's crucial. Generic courses get lost. Courses that promise a specific outcome for a specific type of person, those do well. Second, pedagogical excellence. Just knowing the stuff isn't enough. You have to be a good teacher online. That means clear learning goals, engaging delivery, good video, clear sound, interactive bits like quizzes or exercises, maybe a community forum, and practical optionable takeaways. Third, just good instructional design, breaking complex stuff down into easy-to-digest pieces, building knowledge logically. Fourth, effective marketing and having some kind of personal brand is essential. People need to find your course and trust you as the expert. And finally, ongoing support and community can be a huge differentiator. Offering access to a private group, live Q&A calls, maybe even some feedback, that dramatically boosts the value and helps students actually succeed. It's really about building a whole learning experience around your topic, not just selling some videos. #tag outro.
Wow. Okay, that was like quite a journey we just took, wasn't it? We've really dug into 10 incredibly varied, high-paying remote jobs that look set to be big in 2025. We went from the deep tech of software development and digital marketing to the analytical world of data, the vital defenses of cybersecurity. Then we looked at crafting great user experiences, building the cloud foundations, and finally jumped into online consulting, virtual law, the whole creator world, and scaling knowledge through online courses. It's so clear, isn't it? There really is something for every skill set.
Yeah.
A huge range of opportunities mixing tech, creativity, professional expertise, all in new, flexible ways. So, as you were listening along to this deep dive, which of those roles kind of lit something up for you? Which one maybe resonated with skills you already have? Or sparked an interest in something totally new? Maybe more importantly, did any of them make you think, even for a second, maybe I could actually do that? Just imagine, right? Where could you be a year from now if you started working towards one of these paths today? Even small steps. The future of work. It's not just coming, it's definitely here. It's diverse. And it feels, well, remarkably accessible if you know where to look.
And that really is the provocative thought we want to leave you with. It's the perfect takeaway. Given how fast remote work and these essential digital skills are completely reshaping the professional world, it raises this really important, really personal question for everyone listening. What specific skills are you actively, intentionally working on today? Not just to get by, but to really thrive, maybe even lead in the work world of tomorrow. Especially knowing for sure now that your office can genuinely be anywhere on the planet. It's a challenge, isn't it? To think proactively, to design your future work life, not just react to whatever happens.
That is a powerful thought to definitely chew on as you go about the rest of your day, your future, your career path, your income. It's potentially more flexible, more rewarding, and maybe more in your own hands than ever before. Thank you so, so much for tuning in and taking this deep dive with us today. I'll catch you in the next one.